What's up, good people? It's your boy D Folk, the maestro. Another episode, Sounds from the Pit. We have some great, distinguished guests here today. It's my family, it's my brothers. We highlighting the bridge. Say hello to the people.
What's going on, everybody? This is Claude.
Yo, what's up, man? This is JR in the building. Here to represent for the Brydge. Much love to everybody.
Yeah. So the prior episodes we did, had Dennis as a co-host. We come with all these AKA, also known as names. So I had about three of them: Default, the Maestro, the Minister of Music. Any stage names y'all brothers got?
Nah.
James had the same thing, right?
I'm
He's a
John
straight
Jones,
John
man.
Jones, J.I. the
That's
drama.
That's the name my mom and daddy gave me, man.
Yes,
you can call me
sir.
JR, though.
Yes, sir. So dig it. We've been discussing this Pittsburgh sound. So before we get into that, just want to go over some background about your upbringing in music, when it started, what did you start with, when did you fall in love with music, and we'll spend a couple minutes just talking about that. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, let's see. When did I start? I think we can go back to about 15, 16 for me. Been going ever since. So I guess if we do the simple math, it's about, 25 years?
All right.
And yeah, music has always been a part of my life. My parents, my mom and dad, they both sang in choirs. My grandfather, he was, part of a music group. So I got uncles who play drums. So it's always been a part.
So drums has always been. Did you start with drums? Or did you
Started
start-
with drums. I'm not multifaceted like my brother over here.
All right,
so,
all right.
so it's always been drums. But like I said, I got uncles on both sides. My mom and dad, who both play drums. So I think it was kind of just part of who I was going to be before I was.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how it started for me.
Sweet.
I'll give the long and the short. Born and raised in church, as many people are. Started playing drums in the church at 8. And if I could have chosen my first instrument, it would probably have been bass. Heavy influences in bass growing up and things I used to do. That's a whole nother story for another time. But then I graduated to playing keys and bass, but both of those out of necessity for where I was at the time. So drums is number one. That's what I went to college for. Did that all through high school and since I could hold sticks. So yeah.
Okay. And you're also the MD of the Mount as well. Is that right? I got to get a shout out to the Mount.
No doubt.
Because when the people see us, they gonna know who we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Coming up on, I'm in year 9.
All right.
10 will be in February. So yeah.
Oh, sweet. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So cool. So let's talk about. So if you guys don't know, and people who are from Pittsburgh and always see us traveling and playing outside of the church, we created, and I'm a part, even though I'm the host of the show, I'm a part of the Brydge. You can see the back of the cover. You see me right there in the middle there. But we used to hang a lot, and of course, besides music, we came up with this concept of the Brydge. You want me to hold that up one more time, Doc? This concept of the Brydge. And let's talk about that for a minute. And I'll let you guys explain it. Where did this idea of the Brydge come from, or how was it developed?
I think JR is suited to answer the Brydge name question better.
Yeah. So I guess the origin story is we were out gigging at one point, and Claude's dad came to us after the gig and was like, "Man, y'all really got something. Y'all really need to do something." We hear that, pretty often after you do something. "Oh, man, y'all sound really good. Y'all need to do something." And I remember one day I was driving up the Parkway, and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I think he's right. We need to do something." So fast forward, I had put the idea out to both Folt and Claude and said, "Yo, we should probably do something. I think we got something viable, and we should put something together." And as far as the name, I've I'm probably telling on myself, but I've never been the most punctual cat. And
Tell
so,
yourself, bro.
you know, if we're supposed to be somewhere and it's 5-10 minutes after I get the call, and it's like, yo, man, where you at? You supposed to be here at 7 o'clock. And when I was living in Penn Hills, there's this little bridge as you're coming from Penn Hills, if you're going up Lincoln, that crosses over Washington Boulevard. It's a small little bridge. And it feels like every time I got the call, I was at that point when I was crossing this little bridge. And so anytime folk would say, man, where you at? Hey, man, I'm on the bridge, man. You know what I mean? I'll be there in a minute. And so I just felt that it was fitting, that on top of course, being from Pittsburgh, you know what I mean, the city of bridges and everything
Yeah.
like that. So I just felt that it would fit, and that was pretty much it. That was the origin of the name and pretty much the band, how it all started.
Nice.
Yeah.
FYI, if any of us are late to whatever function, when the question is asked, our answer is always, I'm on the bridge. You know what I mean? So if you haven't, we'll go back to this, but if you haven't picked this CD up, it's on all platforms. It's still hot to death. What was the year? 2016?
14, man.
14. No.
14.
11. We recorded
Yeah,
that.
we
joint
originally
in
recorded
11.
Yeah,
It's
11. Yeah.
still hot. I've played it on a pre-roll at another function, and I'm getting calls and people are emailing like, who is that? Who is that? So if you haven't picked that up, I'm going to come back to it at the end of the session. Go ahead and download the Brydge project. So I've been on this journey, as in prior episodes, about just understanding this research of art in Pittsburgh. So being a musician, I wanted to start with that, and just starting to talk to a lot of OGs older than me about the Crawford Grill and how the top dogs back then were really a part of the fabric of Pittsburgh and art. And so I always start off saying that we're recognized as a large town masquerading as a major city. However, I wouldn't have even embarked on this journey if it wasn't for the rich history of musicians, singers, actors, athletes, culinary arts, and all that. So I travel a lot. You meet new people. First question is, where you from? Pittsburgh. So it's always the Steelers, right? If I meet someone, baby boomer, they recognize, they know, oh, I remember Crawford Grill, Wiley Avenue, Frankstown. They know of that. And so just like, and then when you go, as you guys know, to different cities, they have a sound. On the macro, East Coast, West Coast, Dirty South, and then you break down, New Orleans, different sound, DC, go, right? You can break down New York in maybe 3 or 4 segments, And I was wondering, like, we got some dope musicians and singers. Do we have a sound? So I want to wrestle for the rest of the segment with, do we have a sound? If we do, describe it. If we don't, why not? And the fact that you guys have, or we have, original material. I mean, we can wrestle with that, but I want to leave that discussion. I want to start, chopping it up about, is there a sound of Pittsburgh? And before we started, I was telling JR, I'm using the term sound both literally, figuratively, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Whoever want to jump in there.
That's
can be as blunt and yeah.
That's a loaded one. For me, I tend to lean towards no.
Okay.
Personally, like in my playing style or in my little bit of production that I do, I just always lean towards a comfort zone / what I like to hear, what I like to play, how I like to play. There's influences that I have across the country on different instruments and various instruments. But from what I've heard and gathered from other musicians and other groups and things like that in the city, I'm not sure if we specifically have a sound. Like you started naming the different regions, and you can immediately attribute a sound with that
Right.
region. I don't. We don't have that, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing or indifferent. But I tend to lean towards no, and that's because we take a lot from various places, whether that's cover back. We doing everybody else's stuff. There's not a lot of originality in this city. Not a lot of people who have put out projects in any genre and things like that. So for me, I tend to say no. I don't feel or think we have a sound now. Style maybe a little bit more so,
Okay.
but sound I don't. For me, it's a no.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I was. Cause I was thinking about that, and yeah, I can't necessarily say that Pittsburgh has a sound. I think we have an identity. In terms of just speaking about us specifically, I think our goal, whenever we sit down and play music, whatever we're playing, the goal is to make it feel good, and I think that's what is translated more so than a sound. When we speak about different regions, there's a specific, we talk about a DC or a South or Midwest. There's a specific sound that's kind of replicated, throughout, whomever's doing the music and things of that sort. I don't know that we have a sound that's replicated in Pittsburgh, and that might just be because, like you said, we're a town trying to masquerade as a big city.
Yeah.
So we don't have a big enough music scene that there's enough people trying to establish a sound. But I know for us specifically, I believe that we have an identity. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's interesting, because I wouldn't again have taken this journey if I didn't think that there was something there.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And then when I'm learning of all I'm talking great. I mean, of course, we know the Georgie Bensons and Ahmed Jamal and the Kelly Strayhorns, and even still living here today, Roger Humphreys, and I mean, even through the genres, we can go through Wiz as it relates to hip hop.
Yep.
I'm just like, wow. And then Billy Porter, toured with this dude with the Wiz, but they all have to exit, and then when they exit, a lot of people don't even know that they're from here until they're interviewed, and that's that dude from Pittsburgh, and a lot, and I'm hoping to get one of our brothers, Travis.
Yeah.
Is another one from Pittsburgh.
Repping it.
Yeah, that's right.
Repping it.
Yeah.
You see that, Trav? You got to watch this episode, baby.
Repping that.
But and I hope to have him on.
Me and Travis from the same hood, by the way.
But
Shout out Garfield.
Shout
We're
out
from the
to
same
Garfield.
hood.
No,
But
you're not from Garfield.
This
but
is a great segue.
He is from Garfield.
This is a great segue. So people from especially New York. I'm just a New York culture dude as it relates to the arts, but they always rep, even if they move to L.A.
Right.
In their songs.
They
They rep in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Boogie Down,
Yep.
125th Harlem,
Yep.
and even from people who make it. I don't hear Georgie talk about anything
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
None of them really.
I think it's a pride issue. I mean, if we're
that's good. Let's
when you're looking, especially when you go out of the city and you go to other places and people ask you where you're from, the pride of Pittsburgh is the Steelers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Black
that's
and
where
gold for one team.
right. That's where the pride is. So you know what I mean? To rep your hood or rep where you're from musically, it's like, well, why would I do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
But why not?
Well, listen, right? Why not? I agree. Like
okay.
I think you should. You know what I mean? And I would hope, that the people who are out there representing.
Well, I know why though. I think for a lot of them that have left and gone on to move and be successful, there's a lot of a lot of hurt and bad memories wrapped up in their journey musically here. A lot of hurdles and unnecessary hurdles, and they just couldn't flourish here. You know what I mean? So they had to move. Some people moved because of schooling. Others moved because of most of them moved because of opportunities. There's not a whole lot of those here. It's not a lot of cats who are touring musicians from Pittsburgh who get flown out from Pittsburgh all the time to go do their shows. They got to be in the Atlantas and the LAs and the New Yorks or the Tennessee, Nashville's or wherever it is. So I think a lot of the hesitancy to rep from a musicality standpoint is just because of the hurdles and the hurt and the things that they have had to deal with in whatever genre that they're in.
That's really good. You got something to add to that?
Yeah, and I think also part of that is like there's no real camaraderie.
So hold that.
Yeah.
Because before we got on set, Jay and I were talking about this, which answers, or we're getting into the why not. There was let's call it OG that I was having this conversation with, and he says, Pittsburgh is the land of dream killers and giant killers. If they see that you can be a giant, we kill it. That's why they. And then we started talking about that. So continue that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's no camaraderie, especially when it goes back to sound. I think when you have a sound, there's a want to kind of replicate what you hear. You know what I mean? So if you hear something, it's like, oh, that's tight. You know what I mean? That sounds good. That feels good. Let me take some of that and let me incorporate that into what I'm doing. But I think in our city to do that is there's a level of there isn't enough humility for musicians in our city to be able to do that and embrace that, because it's like, okay, oh, you took my sound, so now you trying to sound like me. It's like, no, I'm just, I appreciate what I heard, and I'm really trying to, implement that in what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, we all kind of flourish because this is our sound, but it's not our sound, it's my sound. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what kills, the camaraderie. That's what kills the pride, because, there's no focus on trying to be, a sound. It's my sound. It's this. Oh, this is what he's doing. Oh, so if he tries to replicate that, then you try to sound like me.
Yeah, this is definitely the city of I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
Yeah,
for sure. So you got this band over here, or this group, and whenever there's a disagreement, whatever it's about, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. I'm gonna start another group over here, but we do the same stuff that y'all did. Like, you know what I mean? So when it comes to that whole the mentality, man, it's it's the classic crabs in a barrel thing. But
sure.
I think Jay-Z said it, like, crabs ain't even supposed to be in no free.
Right, for sure. Yeah,
like, what do we, So it's man. I definitely don't think, I know there's no sound, and I might offer a little bit of pushback to the identity as well. Like, I'm not even entirely sure there's a clear-cut identity either.
I would
okay, go ahead.
I would challenge that, and I don't think there's a conscious sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, because me and Jay were here early, we started the convo, but subconsciously I've had the privilege of playing with my age group, younger and older. So, and being able to glean in on these types of conversations, give my input and all that. So, and learning their individual sounds. So, me and Jay were talking. I said, Jay has this riff that he does. If it's a 4/4 tune, that is somewhere in there, I know he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's germane to him.
Yeah.
You have a sound that is own. I can't even describe it, but I know it's you with my eyes closed going into any place. That's Claude's playing, and it doesn't. I don't identify that with, oh, that's a Corey Henry riff. That's a Robert Glasper riff. It's a Claude thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
where there are a lot of great musicians, but they sound like some other great musicians that are on, right? So I think any sound from the region has to start with the individual, whether it be the group, whether it be the Brydge, Travis, James Ziegler, Anita, on, and Cam Chambers. It starts, but then it's like, oh, coming to the stage from Pittsburgh, the recognition, and where that thing starts to catch fire, right? I was telling Jay real quick, and I think it's different because I'm not on the scene as much. I started playing at 16. To my, I've heard a lot. There was 3 major groups: Fresh, Sputsy and Modern Man, and the Allen Brothers, who was from, we talk about the Ohio sound, right? And the musicians there. The cool thing is there's friendly competition because you want to be the best, right? You want to be the best. However, they would come to all our shows. We would encourage them. We would go to all their shows. And, we would encourage them. Yeah. So that camaraderie that you're talking about and the pushback is that you have a sound. I can't carry y'all briefcase. I'm good, not great. My thing is production and dreaming, right?
Bigger picture.
Bigger picture. But one of the greatest accomplishments was playing at somewhere I forget we were playing. And someone come in and said, I knew that was you. That sounded like a Wayne groove. Wow. A groove. It's a sound. Yeah. So now I want to own that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I don't know that some of the things, the little idiosyncrasies or things that we do in our music, that we don't recognize it and claim it as a Claude sound, a JR sound, a Brydge sound, which is birthed in where? The Bird.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really so for me it's simple. Like I don't, and it's probably the same for you or anybody. Like I don't play things or create stuff because it's my sound. It's just because it's what I like. Right. That's what I like to hear. That's, you know what I'm saying? So, I've never really dug deep, but you did hit a point as far as the whole support, back in the day, like that's a whole nother.
Right.
The other point about the going back to that identity, I think, all that you said in terms of, why you play and how you play, I think that goes back to identity. I think that's just something that's specifically from my point of view. When I play with you and I play, there's an identity there where I know that whatever you're playing, this is, I don't want to say sound because that's kind of broad, but these are the things that we bring to whatever we're doing.
And you spoke about a little bit of the connection, like you was talking about, like I'm so in tune with Claude, I know where he's going before.
Yeah, for sure. Like there are certain things. There are certain, and wherever we're playing, there are certain things that you do that I know. Okay, he's going to go here, and I can kind of anticipate that, and I think that's kind of our identity. And going back to just the Brydge, I think our goal was to, whatever we do, we want to make it feel good. Yeah. Like that's kind of our identity.
And we were just like, it's not like we came together and put something out. There was no motive. Right. We just want to put out music that we want to put out.
Yeah.
We don't have to meet any quotas from a record label or any numbers. Right. It's just some music we want to do, man.
It's a great segue. Let's talk about industry. So one of the segments that we had, the person said one of the reasons why we're not recognized because industry is not here.
Okay.
So let's wrestle with that. So because now with, this is called what it is, with this gentrification, and because I'm out and about all the time, I love people, so I meet all kinds of people, rich, poor, and and different. They're transplanting here, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're seeing what I saw, and they're capitalizing on it. Restaurants, look at how many live they opening up, gigs for live music. So I'm on the jazz station, and every half hour, I hear where everybody's playing. I'm like, Pittsburgh got this many venues, but a lot of these places that are opening up are from people from other towns.
Yeah.
Because
New
it's
York,
wide open.
L.A., because it's wide open, and they know. Look, they just had the grand opening of the refurbishing of the Opera House.
Yeah.
This is where Duke Ellington and all those great cats were frequenting.
Yeah.
So is it possible? Because what's going to happen? I guarantee you, if the born and raised Pittsburgher doesn't do it, I guarantee, probably in my lifetime, maybe not, someone's going to recognize it, and they will bring
An
industry
implant maybe,
somehow
capitalize. Yeah.
to here.
Yeah, man. The industry definitely does not exist. It doesn't exist here.
Does industry have to come here to create this thing, this idea that I have of the sound of Pittsburgh? Does it need to come?
Like somebody from outside.
Industry, yeah, music industry, like Pittsburgh. I mean, the Steelers is the sound of Pittsburgh.
Right.
One of the seasons we'll get into the whole Yinzer thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 412. I'm still lumping all that into the sound, and that's recognized that people know about outside of the city know about Yinzers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
They know that's a
They know that's a
Pittsburgh
thing,
thing,
yeah.
Doc.
Yeah.
Fries on the
On the
salad.
They
Yeah,
know
yeah,
about
yeah.
Primanti
Yeah,
Brothers,
right.
bro. I know
Right.
people who say, I want to go to Pittsburgh to have one of those sandwiches
That's
or
right.
to visit the strip.
Maybe you shouldn't do that, but
I won't say that. I won't say that. Will it take outside industry to come?
Or would it take industry? Because
Well-
we had it at one time.
But it was.
I would have to name drop, but
But it was
somehow
here, though.
the Dream Killers and the Giant Killers messed that up.
See, I don't know. I mean, it may take that though. It may take somebody or some entity from the outside to come in and maybe shine a light that is not being shined right now. I mean, it's
but
it's
I'm gonna
possible.
say this though, like it's right now. If somebody were to come in, it would be tough, man. Because granted, like I say this all the time, we talk about it. There are like 40 to 100 bands in Pittsburgh, right? The problem
but they're
is
doing all covers.
So that's what I was about
Right.
to say. So it's all. Does any of them have an original voice?
music.
I'm saying no.
I haven't heard it other than the people that I'm interviewing
Yeah.
or that we're talking about
Like
this.
nobody has an original. Maybe one or two of those groups have an original voice, but it's just like it's all cover heavy and laden, man. So, if somebody industry were to come in, it's just like you would literally just have to take the person out and do what you want with them and make them whatever you're trying to make them, because it's just like it's not like you're going to say, oh man, I really hear. Now there's some people. I will say there are a good amount of artists and bands that do have original music, man. But to be frank, it's like, yeah, it needs a little bit of work, needs some fine tuning,
Okay.
needs some polished. You know what I mean? Whether that's them as an artist, the music, the whole presentation, or whatever it is. And I'm not speaking as an authority. I'm speaking as a consumer, as somebody
Okay.
watching, as a fan.
Okay.
And it's just like, you came with me to one of my gigs, man.
I did.
He
Yeah.
came after church on a Saturday night. I had a gig at Mr. Smalls, and I ain't gonna say who I was playing with or all the other bands that were there.
Right.
He came, and for as much as y'all say I'm Mr. Pessimistic or whatever it is, he got
I
to
think the
witness
viewers
it.
saw that to see that a little bit.
But he got to witness what I've been talking about for a long time, man.
Yeah.
There were like 4 or 5 different people on this ticket, and it was just like, first off, I ain't never even seen or heard of you, and the second thing is like that product.
Yeah.
I'll let you say, because I'm not about to keep
No.
continuously
I mean,
be-
no. Yeah, right. I mean, he's right. There were a lot of people on the ticket, and for what I seen and experienced. Again, I wasn't able to walk away. Like if I was an outsider, I wouldn't been able to walk away and say, "Oh, there's a sound." And there were probably at least 10, 12 acts on that.
Yeah,
Oh, you
we were
serious?
we were only there for 4 or 5 of them.
Right. So
Yeah,
so
for a
and
lot.
so I wouldn't have been able to walk away and say, "Oh, there's a definitive sound here." So
Because the sound he heard was
Or did it feel,
Undecipherable.
using your term, did anything feel good?
It now I if I'm being honest, no, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't.
Listen, if
But
I had glasses, I'd have looked down. I'd have looked at the top like.
And that's the thing. And I think going back to us, I think there has to be a legitimate focus on that, like taking what you have and making it something. Like not just doing it just because we're a group of musicians and we're gonna come together.
But you're getting into the other problem. The other problem is, and this is conversations I've had with Tone. Hey Tone, shout out to Tone and Dennis and I've had with y'all. Yeah. One of the biggest issues here in the city is everybody, every band, every artist they think that they already have arrived and they're great.
Yeah.
And they're amazing.
Well,
so the critiques or anything like that,
right.
Dennis asked me, he's like, well, how do we change that? Well, I'm like, I honestly don't know.
It goes back to what I said earlier. There's no humility amongst the camaraderie.
It has to start there. That's
because
the word.
everybody believes and thinks that they're it. I think while we were able to accomplish our project because we weren't going in. Oh, listen, we're gonna let all these cats have it.
We didn't care.
We didn't care.
We
it
were
was about releasing music.
We were legit.
That was for us,
right? We legit wanted to put just music out that we believed in, and we felt that it was good music, it was good content, and we wanted to make it feel good. That was the goal. That was the motivation for a lot of these other musicians throughout the city. I can't say that that's their motivation.
Okay.
They're trying to be it. They're trying to be the guy or the band,
or they're already,
or they already believe that they're there.
Yeah.
And for us, it was just not. That wasn't it. We wanted to make good music.
Because I don't even know what there is.
And you know why? Because there is no there in the city of Pittsburgh. There is no there.
Well, part of the problem is that really irritates me. You have. With us, I'm just speaking of us, and I think I can speak on it because I've experienced it in multiple forms. That we are gifted beyond measure, but our consistency, our
professionalism,
work
ethic, and we don't know the business.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know where I heard it from, but they said it shouldn't be show business; it should be business show.
That's good.
Because we don't handle the business. We always try to handle the business after the show.
That's good.
Or if we talk about it at all.
If we even talk about it at all, right?
Or we get to these venues and we're talking about the sound. Well, hey brothers, I'm just, there's only like 45 people at the door, so I'm a little short. Like,
no,
right. And then Anderson .Paak says, fame doesn't pay the bills.
Whew.
And all these cats want to be thinking they coming in with entourages. Like, dude, you local, bro.
Yeah.
You can sing it. But here's what I think is going to happen. If we, the James Johnsons, the Carolyn Petites, I don't want to forget anybody, industry will come in because, like in New York, clubs, you got to pay to play. You ain't getting paid to play. Mm-hmm. You want to get on this stand?
You got to throw,
Give me 50. I'm gonna put you up here with them and see what you got. Mm-hmm. So they come in. Here's a gold mine. Their work ethic is different.
It's different, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Sean's not from here. Like Sean could have been Pittsburgh, in my estimation.
Okay.
He could have brought, at least in the jazz world, took that to a whole nother spot. Right. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to come in, New York, L.A., Atlanta, one of them places, and going to bring that industry here, blow up, and set up shop. Because they're even prognosticating that in 5 to 7 years, it's going to be like Boston, cost of living going up. And people are moving here. They're seeing, because they're seeing the richness of the arts culture. Mm-hmm. And, even I'm a resident down at the August Wilson, they're pouring money. And we did a show, instead of getting our musicians, they called some musicians for this particular show from New York. I was like, well, I can call some. No, I don't want to deal with no Pittsburgh musicians.
Ooh, but that's a whole nother conversation.
And I'm not going to drop the name who said that.
Yeah,
and me and Dennis played on it because Dennis was a part of the one part, and they brought these singers in from New York.
Wow.
Because she said nope, because I can't. She didn't use the term trust, but I'm using that word. Are they going to show up? are they going to know what they're supposed to know when they get here?
Whew.
And they called in somebody from New York. I was like,
Yeah.
and then we, as to your point, we think we steal the cat's meow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's good stuff. And again, this journey is not to necessarily bring resolutions, result, but it is to bring awareness
Yeah.
And to start
Start
the
a conversation.
and
Yeah,
to
for
start
sure.
the conversation.
But I think yes, this is good, but it's just like how many people will watch or listen to the series and say, you know what? He's coming down my street. Let me, it's always like, oh yeah, he right. He ain't talking about me though. Oh, he right.
I think we all got a part.
Yeah, well, but that's the Pittsburgh mentality though. That right there is the Pittsburgh mentality. It's, yeah, you know what? They're right. There's some legit, they're saying some stuff. It's like, nah, they can't be talking about.
They must
me.
be talking about such.
They
and
must,
such.
yeah, and that's the issue. That's part of the issue why there is no, sound. There's no camaraderie. It's like, I mean, I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it.
Hey, Berg, we solving the problems, the music problems of the world. Meaning just here because we got something. I don't know if you guys recognize it, and most of the people I can interview and we can have these discussions with. There's so many great singers and musicians, but I chose to do musicians and artists who have original material out that we can put our hands on through the downloads and those things. And the Brydge, again, I'm a family member of this project, and let's talk about the new project or the new EP. And I guess the challenge, because Claude is really the music producer as it relates to musicality of project. I guess our challenge would be for one of our artists to rep the Berg, whether it's a small line in the song.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it be forget Garfield and Peabody, dog.
Can never forget. Listen, can never forget Garfield Peabody. Never.
As my boys say, Garfield me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I mean that would be a challenge. I mean, to start somewhere. There's small beginnings.
Yeah.
And I think, and you heard me say it, if not the best, not because, and I'm not, I don't kiss. They asked me, "Can we cuss on here?" I was getting ready to cuss, but no.
We're saved, y'all.
My mama might be watching this.
Y'all saved.
But I think Claude is, Prince. Everyone knows that Prince is my favorite artist. Period. Like for multiple reasons, won't get into that. This cat reminds me of that, knowledge and understanding of music. When I met him, he was a bass player. He plays the keys just as good as the bass, and he plays the drums.
No doubt.
God knows what else he. Then he was up here messing around. I heard him do a little riff singing. I was like, that dude probably can sing too,
Yeah,
Sure. But with that prowess, it's like I'm challenging him. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
And my thing is, I don't want to die having a vault of ideas.
Yeah.
Put it out there for public consumption. If it hits at my age, if you hate it, so what? If you love it, so what? But if you want to find out about who I am, it's
There
out
it is.
there.
There it is. Yeah, I agree.
And with a talent and a gift as the Brydge, that's my challenge to them is to start that identity, that sound. Those are the three main things I got out of this discussion: identity, this sound, Brydge, and the feel.
Yeah.
And I think we already captured it in that, and then
we always
Yes,
capture it. I whenever we get together and do a gig or a show, it doesn't matter if we playing covers or whatever. We're mainly covers because we don't do a whole lot of the album stuff.
Right.
We have a sound. We have a identity.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I was just talking earlier. We was talking about how we were playing Sunday and we did the praise song, and how it was kind of just mundane. Saturday night and 8:30, but 10:30 we put. Well, I won't say we. You put your thing on it, and we followed, and it kind of it felt a whole lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you put your thing, and we were able to follow in, and make it make it our own. And so I think again going back to just an identity, even with our name, the Brydge. That's when you think of Pittsburgh outside of the Steelers. If you know anything about Pittsburgh, we're the city of bridges, man. I mean, that's part of the identity.
I didn't know we had that. Make sure I'm not misquoting this or I'm saying this wrong. That we have the most bridges in the world.
Yeah, if not damn close.
No,
No,
yeah, no, yeah.
we got one out. We got one out.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
mean, that's a major identity. I mean, and then most people, at least historians, know that about us.
Yeah.
I love the landscape of Pittsburgh. For some reason, I'm a big God guy. God still got me here. There's been multiple times I could have left, and I always contemplate if I'd have left where I would be. So since I'm here, I'm gonna try to make it the best,
For sure.
that we can, to promote. Especially at my age, I ain't trying to get on the stage and dance and all that, but to promote cats like you and other great artists in Pittsburgh, So give a shout out to the Brydge once again as we wrap this up. Great session, fellas. Thanks for coming
Yeah, no
on.
doubt.
Do you want to say just one thing? What they expect from EP?
Oh yeah, man.
We cooking.
Yeah.
We
So
cooking, man.
the first
We got some
album was
things.
just a bunch of ideas that we just had,
Right.
and we put them together, man. And it was a good one. This one is going to be a little bit more concentrated and focused, less people, but something that's going to be.
It's gonna be hot.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about it, man. Whenever and the good thing is, man, like we have no quotas to meet, no
Right.
deadlines. So we really taking our time
Okay.
and really crafting this thing, man. So whenever it comes out, it's gonna be. I'm excited. It's gonna be work of art, man.
Yeah, and listen, we got good people, and that's another thing. I think that's what goes, underrated is just the people that you have around you. You have to have some good people around you. You know what I mean? I think even with the first project, we had some really good people around us. We got some good people on the second project, so I think we're gonna put out some good stuff and.
I'm gonna do the classic line. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. I think everybody will enjoy it. But until then, go and pick up that first project. Get an idea of who we are, our identity. You know what I mean? City of Bridges. Roberto Clemente Brydge right there representing. So yeah, that's who we are. So
There you have it. The Brydge. My family, my brothers. Look, everybody that I bring on here is related. I adopt them, whether they be my nephews, my brothers, my nieces, my sisters. That's how we doing it. There you have it. Big shout out to all the artists in Pittsburgh. Hope you've been challenged. Hope you've been inspired. I want to give a shout out to my boy Mark Piegler, Al Chapo for letting us borrow this space, the cave. Can you see him? Say what's up to the people.
What's up? What's up?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. Until the next time, we out.
We got the sounds from the pit, straight out the box, baby. That's it, the sounds from the pit, making that bird noise. Go get it, the sounds from the pit, straight out the box, baby. That's it, the sounds from the pit, no covers. Loren. We got the sound.